Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, everybody, we're back, and I am joined by one of my favorites. George Turnage is here with me. George, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm really good, thank you.
I loved your last show. If you can, before we get into that, if you can just give us a little bit about what you do and your practice and how you're helping so many people. I know you are. So
Yeah, I'm quite frankly, I'm a what they call a Grohungan, which is a high priest. We don't consider ourselves priests because a priest is in Catholic faith and so forth. But media and everything began to describe us as priests because we're head of these church or sanctuaries, whichever we are. But I'm what they call a Guo Hungan. A Hungan is the male leader in a sanctuary, and a Mambo or a Gro Mambo is the female of a sanctuary. What I do is help people. I take care of the sick, shut in, the invalid. I take care of births. I make sure that people who come from all over the world or all over the United States looking for help. You know, most people are looking for love. You know, they're looking for business opportunities. They're looking for answers to questions that they may not have. So they come to me and I'll do divination. And a divination is a reading. And a reading is not that we do in voodoo or voodooizan, which is particularly out of Haiti, and or Dahomey in West Africa. We do not use crystal balls, crystal rocks, Torah cards, or any of those type of things. What we do is we do through our invocation and begin to talk to the shrine, and the shrine gives us answers or inclinations that lead you to different things. For example, I can say, "Tell me about KC," and they can say, "Well, he's quite ambitious. He has a very bad temper. Uh, he has he loves things. He hates wasting time, and he loves things that go, things like that that we can pinpoint and talk about a person that would would describe them so that they come to know that we have found them spiritually, and then can be able to tell them things about what's going on in their lives emotionally, and or with love or sickness, or the death of a loved one, or concern about things. We do not, or at least I don't. I know a lot of people claim to, well, I can put a spell on you and I can put, no, that's not voodoo. That's not what I do, and it's not how I was taught by my godmother or godfather in Haiti. And we're from Miami, Haiti. I'm from the United States, but that's where our central home is, where we were taught and learned. And I'm 43 going on 44 years involved with this faith. We do not put spells on people. We do not, people tell me, "I want you to make her fall in love with me." Well, according to those shoes you're wearing and like that, I don't think you're gonna have a chance at all of someone falling in love with you. And that's just the way it is. People are unfortunately online looking at all kinds of books and all kinds of people talking about all kinds of things. And I get a lot of calls where people are saying, "Hey, can you go to this Loa, and can you do this for me? And somebody I don't like on my job, and this and
what's a
that."
low? What's a low?
Aha, glad you asked. Now, I told you before, so you're gonna have to take notes.
Okay.
The Loa are what we call what you may look at as the Holy Spirit, or the spirit of divination in faith.
Okay.
They are when we look to talk to, for example, one of the forces that deal with money, economics, is a force of fire. Now, all Loa are connected to the energies in nature. We talked about the power of quantum physics, and especially the energy in nature. In Loa, in African forces, every Loa is connected to wind, rain, river, ocean, earth. plants and things like that. So when we go to the Loa and we ask the Loa about an individual, they give us information that we could tell them about that person. And with Baon, the one we were talking about last week,
Is that the tall gentleman that dresses in black with the top
all
hat?
black with the top hat, the
And
cigarette.
he speaks with it, and he speaks kind of
Wang, 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 wang.
a 20s gangster.
That's right. I'm saying,
Okay.
that's Baon,
Okay, cool.
and he's a force out of the area of death. He is not, he's considered a Loa, but he's not in the family of Loa that deals with life, health, direction, love, and so for family, agriculture, and these types of things. Bound is actually on the other side. Now, the beautiful thing about this Loa, Hollywood has made a considerable fortune imitating this force, as well as other people trying to scare people. That's where we came on talking about, I got my black cat bones,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
old Joe working. They try to ascertain these things out of the cemetery, trying to deal with Baum. They don't have a clue about that Loa. And one of the great things about him that I know personally,
You know personally.
exactly,
Yeah.
that he can actually save your life, even with a person who has died and is not deemed by God or in their future, unless there happen to be circumstances that you cannot correct. He will actually, like COVID. I actually had the COVID, full blown COVID-19, and died. And he actually pushed me back out of that area of death into the area of life where other forces were able to take control of me. And he sat with me through that entire, I was in hospital for about 4 or 5 months, and then had to I had to learn to walk again, talk, that whole
Oh my
process.
God.
So, and he was the one that was with me that made sure that I was able to accomplish, the things that I had to accomplish. So when
Wow.
people tell you about that Loa, and they go to the cemetery and they're knocking on people's graves, stones and so forth like that, they're anticipating what they think they know or what they think they believe. And if something in life happens to respond favorably to something that they were going to do, is probably was something that was going to happen anyway.
Uh,
And if it doesn't respond favorably, they'll tell you, well, the person is no good, they're weak, their energies, because people always look for favorable results in terms of that. I wanted her to fall in love with me and she fell in love with him. Or I wanted my kid's husband, father to do this, and I wanted to kill him, and but just all kinds of craziness
yeah.
that
It's all
people
on the internet. It's all there.
all on the internet. That's why I tell you, get a lot of calls from people from the internet that call me, that ask me about this, that, or the third, and I just avoid. I let them know, no, I'm sorry, I don't do those things. And most people try their best to come by, want to see me and meet with me, and that's not how it works at all. It is the reason why I travel so far since after the death of my wife,
Yeah.
March of this year, March 8th. I've been in working in Florida, traveling in conferences.
Doing speaking gigs, right?
Exactly. I just spoke with Dr. Carter yesterday, who is preparing to take me to Bahia, Brazil, to do a conference there to talk about the same problems that I'm describing to you. I'll be going in January before Brazil to the hills of Jamaica in Montego Bay to meet with the Maroons. And those are the Amerindians and Africans that live there and still practice original faith and things like that. They'll be celebrating their New Year ceremonies,
Wow.
and I will be connecting with that. And then going to my sister and brother felt as though I need to recover from the loss of my wife. But what people don't realize, that when people pass on, they are not dead at all. At least I know this about my wife, because she's still telling me what to do. And one of the things they're going to is a place called in Honduras for the Garifuna Amerindians and African religion there. And she and I forged a relationship in the Honduras and in Belize that I'm looking to regain so that we can continue. It's a beautiful, beautiful culture that they have there, and I'm looking to regain that. And so it's things like that that people are looking for education, for religious freedom and practice, to be able to do the things that dictates the faith. And I'm one of the ones that's known for lecturing against people on that line, people who think that they can just take advantage of things and do things that literally they have no liberty to do. They have no training. They can hurt themselves and others. And most of the time they call us back. So that's that in a kind of a nutshell.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's so interesting because a lot of people don't know anything about what you do, and
Do Ifa, Candomblé, Lukumi, and just any of those faiths, the Garifinas, even in the southern United States with the Gullah people and so forth, the Native Americans, all of these faiths are connected because they are faiths that work out of the quantum physics of nature, and that's what makes you may have a different way you call this or something you do that, but in the end it comes down that we are all working for the same purpose, which is life, birth, the unity and togetherness, peace, and harmony in that, and to forge. That's why I told you a few shows back, what we're about is love. That's the ultimate thing that these forces and these things do, and that you or anyone cannot get me to hate anybody. I don't care what they've done. I've talked with racists. I've talked with black revolutionaries, and I've talked with. I mean, I've been locked up in Cuba and all these different places,
my God, wow,
and we get a chance to um, have things happen that have people make a change of heart, actually, in these kinds of things, because you cannot do anything with hatred and violence, but beget more hatred and violence.
right,
In every person, there is good and bad. I don't care who you are. You could be the Pope. There are things in. One of the things that I teach is about having an even mind. And an even mind is living where you're not caught up in your cerebellum, which is where dark thoughts and dark energies are, or too far into the cerebrum, where all of the light and so-called intelligentsia and all of these things, because it ends up in two different ways. In the cerebellum, you have the people that are low lives, literally, that do things, low thinking, only about themselves, only about money, only about getting over and how to influence. And that's the only thing that really bothers me about the United States, England, and different places where they have taken advantage of the people by convincing them that they are someone else, or this, you're better than this person, or this or the other things like that, and have gotten the confusion of some really good people, really good souls, to think and do things that are harmful to other people and to themselves. And so therefore they're all trying to find God, enlightenment, and how to be the better person that they can be. And I'm telling you, you cannot do that thinking and living either in the cerebellum, which are for low lives, and then in the cerebrum life is what those holier than thou people.
wow, okay,
I'm my intelligentsia, and
yeah,
I
there,
don't do this. Yeah, very lofty people. And the reason for that is, even in that high lofty position, you look over your brother man and your sister woman. You simply just ignore the fact that these are human beings, and stop living the fact that somebody is black or white or red. That none of that stuff means absolutely nothing. Human being is the only thing that matters here. And if you can learn to be human, then you can see beyond any so-called disguises or masks that people wear, or people think that they're wearing, and what they're supposed to be. That's why our country is in such turmoil. And this, you have really good people. I think I mentioned this before, particularly in the Kentucky and Tennessee and other areas, where they have people that were coal miners and things like that, and made them think that they couldn't. They first of all took the lands and the areas away from the native Americans living in those areas, and then began to work them and dig for gold and what they called fossil fuel. And there is no such thing as fossil fuel, because those oil and coal does not come from the remains and dead bodies of dinosaurs or lives that lived here millions of years ago. It's just a fact. And the thing about it is, they got those people thinking in ways that are have to be deprogrammed, if you will. Got people living and thinking in ways that I mean, look at the deaths. Look at the black lung deaths and all of the other poverty and the things that they have gone through. Yet they're getting from people, like I told you how President Johnson once told them, it's like, you are, no matter how low, poor, and uneducated you are higher than the highest black man ever to come, like a Dr. King or somebody like that. You're better than that, because you're white. And he said, as long as I can get them to continue to think that way, I could pick his pocket all day. And it's true. That's what they've done. So what we do, if you came to me and you are in trouble, I don't care what your race or whatever you consider yourself is, I'm going to help you because you're in trouble. I'm going to help you because you need to see things. Now, whether you can make your way to the light of what I like to call even-mindedness, living in some of your cerebellum and some of that cerebral mind, because it's necessary to have that area, that space of even-mindedness, because you're not living so in the darkness of the cerebellum that you become just a person in life. You're not helping, you're not doing, you're murdering, you're just convinced to do anything that you can do in that low life. But you if you are even-mindedness, you're the type of person that have some of that energy in the cerebellum, to mean that nobody can get over on you. You're able to see people when they come peddling lies and other kinds of disease. Hey, you can drink this water, eat this food. They have taken over us being able to plant and farm through agribusiness and animal husbandry, so that they can be able to sell us the things that they want us to eat and drink and how they want us to live. And it's killing us, but nobody has, and now people are starting to see that. But they can also, you don't want to be so high in the cerebral mind where you are overlooking and thinking that you're living so well that those same people who are selling you, like GD Searles, when he came with the processed sugar. Remember that white sugar thing that he came back, I believe in the 40s, and he tried to sell it to farmers, but the animals wouldn't eat it and they died.
I
And then
didn't know about that.
yeah, he went to Food and Drug and got people on their board of directors that began to pass things for sugar in everything, sugar in vegetables, sugar in canned food products, sugar. And then all of a sudden people start getting diabetes, and they
Oh,
start getting, like, we have a lot, we are living so lofty and on the area of just wanting money, just wanting to be rich, just wanting to be this particular kind of person, that we've allowed ourselves to be conned. We've allowed ourselves to do terrible things to our brother man and our sister woman, so that we could think that we're living a better life or higher existence. And Isabella Wilkerson wrote a book called The Sum of Us. And what she was talking about in The Sum of Us, wait a minute, that's somebody trying to get through to talk to you, Casey. I'm not. In The Sum of Us, how even through redlining and unfair banking and housing loans, that people were able to get housing in other areas that they thought they were living better than blacks or natives or Hispanics. and they came to find out that they were being exposed to high tension wires, poison land. I mean, they were getting sick. That's how you got things like Parkinson's and other type of diseases that didn't fare them well. I mean, they were successful of keeping blacks and Hispanic people out of their communities, but at what cost?
Right.
You know, they started seeing cancers that they had never seen before, sicknesses that they never knew. You know, and so that she said about in the sum of us is what you deprived us of from having, so that we could just simply live as human beings in inequality. You accepted what they gave you, thinking that it was better, but in truth, what it was a trick.
What it was making people believe that they were
Better than the, you know, well, you know, like it says, okay, I live in White Oaks Township, and in my neighborhood in White Oaks Township, we have these houses with some land around it, and we have our own swimming pool, our own people center, and the school for our kids, and nobody else outside of this community can come here, can live here, can y'all can, don't y'all come in here. And that was cool for a while, because they were able to raise their children and do the things that they were able to do, but at what cost? And what manner of man had in mind to sell them this trick, when they realized that these people who were living in these really nice places and homes and things like that were being also cheated by banks, cheated by government, influenced in vote, influenced in school, or hidden in school. So that you look at things like social studies, which were not correct at all, because they weren't teaching true social studies, and the same thing as historical facts and what it was damaging is what we knew about one another. That if we could figure out the truth about everybody, then we would see everybody as the same.
right.
You know, we wouldn't have those kind of problems. Not to mention the lead in pipes that led water into their homes, which led to diseases,
Mhm.
as well as high tension wires when they were running electric lines and stuff like that in their communities, which led to diseases, and as well, and then all other kinds of things, as well as taking and drafting you to go to war, and other lands, and the things that brought you back so much heartache, hardship, and pain. And who profited? So that's the one thing that you must always look at, KC, is who is profiting. Where is the money going? Follow the money. That's one of the truer statements ever made, because if you follow the money, I guarantee you, you can see it's only going to a certain place,
A small,
very small
yeah.
percentage, and it ain't going to you. And I look at elder people, be they white or black, starving,
Yeah.
looking at how they're going to pay their next bill. There is no more money coming in. Even the insurance is not enough. The retirement left them short. And that's because they were used just like everybody else was used, but they couldn't see it until the end.
Mm. Wow. Greed is a horrible, horrible thing.
Ooh, yes.
George, tell us, we're at the end here. We'll do the part two. I'll get the end of that story next time. But can you tell us you got so much, we got so much to look forward to, because you got so many different places you're going to, so we get to hear about that. But
Oh, yeah.
let us know what's going on with you, and how people can get a hold of you.
You can always get it. Well, get in touch with me. My direct phone number, and I'm giving you my direct number because the other is not up and running, but it will be very shortly. 215-869-5322. You can get me there, George Turnage or Papa Yatande. They must be coming Yatande or Papa John. I mean, they call me a lot of things. I'm not going to tell you what my wife used to call me.
George, I mean, I love when you come on, learning from you and hearing your perspective on things and what you know. It's really cool, man. I'm very, very blessed to have you on, and it's a great show. So I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for listening. And George, any last words that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm gonna have Ashley get in touch with you about the day that billboard is going up. She wanted it up the day before, and I'm like, no, I haven't got my hair cut. It's not dyed back to the proper color that it needs to be dyed. I want my mud. So when we go there and see it, we can get, we can be right. But I want to make sure that we get that information to you so that you can direct people into New York or to those kiosks and things like that they can see me. And then if you have a situation at your school or your university or a township that you would like me to come and address and to talk about, I will be more than willing to come. You got the number at 215-869-5322. Hit me up. Invite me. We will come. We will come and we will spend some good times together and talk about things together. Don't try to call me during Black History Month. All right, because I'm gonna be upset with you, because every month is Black History Month, White History Month, anything like that. It's just all history. Let's just get together and learn. Love y'all. Love y'all very much.
Same here. George Turner's the best. We'll be right back. Thank you, George.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.